In ancient China, the ruthless Hun leader Shan Yu and his army invade the land of Han China and breach the Great Wall. When this happens, the Emperor of China orders a general mobilization of the imperial army, sending out conscription notices to every household, requiring one man from each family to report for military service. In the village of Korva for Mulan, a spirited young woman hopes to bring honor to her family by taking her father. Fuzhou's place in the army, as tradition dictates that daughters should serve their parents in this way. However, there's a problem. That same day, Mulan is also supposed to go to the city to be judged by a matchmaker to find a husband. Disguised as a man, she sets off for the city. But along the way, she runs into a few obstacles. First, she loses her hairpin in a stream. Then when she tries to retrieve it, she breaks the old woman's vase. Then, while looking for another replacement hairpin, she accidentally sets fire to the apothecary's eyebrows. Finally, arriving at the matchmaker's house, she frightens the poor woman's cat and knocks over a table of refreshments, ruining her chance at finding a husband. Hopeless and ashamed, Mulan returns home. When she tells her family what happened, her father, a renowned general who had been in the imperial army for 20 years, says that he must fulfill his obligation and go to war. Worried about his safety, Mulan tries to dissuade him from going, but he insists that he must do his duty. After he leaves, Mulan's grandmother prays to their family's ancestors for Mulan's safety in the family temple. There, the ancestors are awakened by Mushu, a small red dragon who used to be the family guardian, but was demoted for incompetence. The great ancestor decides that the powerful stone dragon guardian should guide Mulan and sends Mushu to wake him. Unfortunately, Mushu accidentally destroys the statue in doing so. Realizing what he has done, Mushu decides to redeem himself to the ancestors by personally aiding Mulan. The next morning, while Fuzhou is preparing to leave, Mulan sneaks into his room. Taking her father's sword and armor, she cuts off her long hair and disguises herself as a man named Fa Ping. Before long, her ruse is discovered and her grandmother faints. Although Mulan wants to explain, she knows that she only caused trouble if she does, so she leaves the house. Meanwhile, Mushu, now wearing one of Mulan's discarded dresses, finds her and reveals that he's there to help. Arriving at the training camp, Mulan is able to pass as a man. With Mushu's help, she trains alongside other recruits, including 3 bumbling friends named Yao, Ling, and Chen Po, under the command of the stern but valiant Captain Li Shang. At first, Mulan struggles to keep up with the others, but she eventually proves herself to be a capable soldier. Meanwhile, Mushu tries to rally the other guardians to help Mulan, but they refuse until she's in danger. Back at the Imperial City, the Emperor's belligerent council, Chifu, tries to convince the Emperor to let Shang and his men come back home, believing that they'll all be killed if they try to stop the Huns. But the Emperor refuses, believing that his generals would never abandon him. Sometime later, Shang leads his men to a mountain pass where they find the bodies of Li and his troops, who had been ordered by Chifu to scout ahead. Enraged by this discovery, Shang leads his men up a nearby mountain pass, only to be ambushed by the Huns. Trapped and outnumbered, Shang orders the men to prepare for battle. Just as the Huns are about to attack, however, Mulan uses a Wulang Chushui cannon to trigger an avalanche that buries the Huns. Although the soldiers are safe, Mulan is badly injured and exhausted. While her wound is being bandaged, Shang and the other soldiers discover Mulan's true sex. According to the law, Mulan should be executed, but Shang spares her life, believing that she deserves a noble death instead, and expels her from the army. Soon afterward, Mulan collapses from her injuries and is discovered by Shang, who brings her back to the Imperial City. Upon their arrival, however, the soldiers discover that Shan Yu and several of his warriors have survived. Desperate to warn Shang, Mulan sets off for the Imperial City just as the Huns seize the palace and take the Emperor hostage. In the ensuing fight, Shan Yu's men are easily defeated, but Shan Yu manages to escape. Mulan lures him onto the roof, and after a brief fight, she pins him down with his own sword. Suddenly, Mushu appears and guides Mulan to a nearby fireworks launching tower. Leaping onto a skyrocket, she uses it to propel Shan Yu into the tower, killing him. With the Huns defeated, the Emperor and the city's assembled inhabitants praise Mulan for having saved them, and they bow to her in honor. She accepts the Emperor's crest and Shanna's sword as gifts, but declines his offer to join the royal council. Returning home, Mulan is reunited with her father and presents him with the gifts, but he ignores them, happy to have her back. Having become enamored with Mulan, Shang also arrives and accepts her invitation to stay for dinner. Mushu is reinstated as a Fey family guardian as the ancestors celebrate.